Hey guys, welcome back to another Genshin Impact video, and for today, it's been almost 3 months since I made my last account update, and I wanted to make another one just to keep you guys up to date. Okay, and let's get started. So I've made quite a lot of improvement on my account over the past couple of weeks, mostly just because of the fact that I've been going a little above and beyond in terms of the resin refreshing, and I've actually gotten quite lucky with some of my artifacts, and so therefore we're gonna go ahead and cover that. 1 second, let me just, okay, so I have collected so far every character that has come out since then, being mostly Xiao and Hu Tao, and we're gonna be getting a Venti rerun and a Child rerun soon, which is nice because I actually would like to get, not this one. Which one is it? Not this one either. Doesn't he have something that's like really helpful for everybody? No, Venti's actually only helpful for himself. So maybe I might not get constellations on him, but for Child I might, because this could actually be pretty helpful for increasing his DPS. Anyways, let's go to equipment. Diluc is still sitting on the Wolf's Gravestone, nothing changed for that. I do have a second one, but I don't want to refine it just because in the foreseeable future when I need a second Wolf's Gravestone, I'm gonna go ahead and just keep that. But constellation-wise, I think I had him at C1 last time, but he's C2 now, which means more damage when he takes damage and he attacks faster, always helpful. Artifacts. I switched him from a Gladiator set to a Crimson Witch set, and I think I got a 4-piece Crimson Witch, mostly because Vaporize and Melt damage is super valuable. So we're gonna go ahead and cover that. I have a pretty decent flower. It's not the greatest because it's missing attack, or attack percent, but it still gave us a lot of crit damage and a lot of crit rate. I do have a second flower. It's not Hu Tao right now, but I would say that even though this one's technically better than this one, I would like to work on Hu Tao later. So we have a feather here, which is again a mixture of attack, crit rate, and crit damage. Have another one here, which tried to get a better version of it by getting a lot more crit rate, but couldn't quite do that. And I have another one here, which is also a better one technically in terms of better substats. But I got unlucky and it went to energy recharge instead of crit rate. So we're stuck with this one for now. And for the Hourglass, we have 26.4% crit damage and 42 elemental mastery and 7% crit rate. So fortunately none went to HP, but I wish that last piece of elemental mastery. I mean, elemental mastery is not bad. Prior to that I actually had this one, which is, this used to be Diluc's old Hourglass. But I got really unlucky with HP percent and ended up getting a better one later. Currently using just a filler Pyro Damage Goblet. That's the only one I had that would work. And it has crit rate and energy recharge. I think that's okay, but it has a lot of percent HP, which I will have to replace later, but it's better for now. And then his Witch Hat is 62% crit damage. I got every bonus except crit rate, which really bothered me because I want to crit rate the most. Crit rate and crit damage are the two best stats. But overall, he's pretty good. He's at 62%. I would like it to get up to maybe 75 if possible, and 200% crit damage, but he has pretty good pyro damage, and well, that's the max you can get anyway. And energy recharge is never a bad thing. So he's doing a lot better. He lost a lot of attack from last time, but made up for it with better crit rate and more pyro damage. Talents wise, he's at 988. Actually no, he's at 888, all of them. I have to work on him, but as you know, talents beyond level 7 gets really expensive. So for Venti, I don't think I made too many upgrades on him. I might have. I switched him from a Favonius Warbow to a Stringless, which I don't think I had last time. I think Stringless is a little bit better because it makes his damage a lot better. I know you can get more energy recharge from the Warbow, but I think if you do have energy recharge from your artifacts, then Stringless is better. Although, generally speaking, if you have a Skyward Harp, you should give it to him. As for his artifacts, we have, let's see, a 2-piece Noblesse and a 2-piece Venerer, Viridescent Venerer. So the flower is crit damage, elemental mastery, crit rate, and health. And then for the feather, we have crit rate, energy recharge, attack, and defense. Then for the Hourglass needs to work. I actually tried to get energy recharge, but it ended up all going to attack and elemental mastery, so I do have to work on him some more later. We have an Animo damage bonus goblet, which is not too bad. Some of them went to HP, but we still got crit damage and attack. And then a crit rate hat with, again, I wish I could have gotten the crit damage, but I got none and only got Elemental Mastery and Attack. Venti does have a lot of Elemental Masteries at 310, which means that he's definitely going to do a lot more damage in terms of Swirl. And in some cases I've actually seen his Tornado or his ultimate single-handedly take down mobs. So I think we're okay with that. He's behind on talents. I haven't been paying too much attention to talents, I probably should have, because they do probably more than artifacts, but I've mostly just been working on artifacts for the time being. And there he is. So Xiao, I just got him. He's still mostly just a filler unit, as in I'm using him to get his sweet climbing stamina reduction, as well as double animal bonus. I used to have Venti and Sucrose. I do have his Jadewing Spear, and I'm gonna work on that later. And for the time being, he's got mostly filler artifacts, nothing too important, but he does have C1. So Lemniscatic Wind Cycling goes 3 times. Pretty helpful in terms of using him as a battery, because each one generates 3 particles. So I usually use him to funnel into Venti, to make up for the fact that Venti doesn't have too much energy recharge. And his talents are gonna need work later too. As for Tartaglia, or Child, he's sitting probably the worst out of my main DPS units. This is not, by the way, my main party, I'm just using it as a travel party. Since a lot of fire type enemies, so I use him, and a lot of ice type enemies, so I use Diluc. But his weapon is a Skyward Harp, and I still need to work on the Heart of Depth set for him, but I haven't been making much progress on that. So we have 22% crit damage, 10% attack. Not too bad, this is a decent flower. I lost my train of thought. We have the Gladiator Feather, which is just a whole bunch of attack. Then the Hourglass. Gladiator pieces are just good in general because they give 18% attack. So if you ever go in 2-piece anything, you can do that. And we're going heavy on crit damage on this guy, and not so much crit rate, so I do have to readjust that. He's got a Hydro Damage Goblet, which got unlucky. It hit attack and defense. No energy recharge or crit rate, but it's the only Hydro Goblet I had. And then he doesn't have a crit rate or crit damage mask, mostly because, again, I haven't worked on him too much. But I will probably go after him next after I finish up Kuching, which I'll talk about in just a sec. He does have C1 though. And talents are also 7 or 5, 7, 7. But I do have to fix that because I do understand that, wait. Oh no, the damage is from this one. So I don't even need to worry about normal attack, actually, I don't think. Okay, so this Ganyu, and she's level 90, she's really strong, I love her. I have an Amos spell on her, which does need to get to 90. And her artifacts, she's going a 2-piece Blizzard Strayer and a 2-piece Gladiator. And I got quite lucky on her artifacts. So for HP, or for the flower, 23% crit damage. For the feather, I got 21% crit damage and 6% crit rate, as well as energy recharge. So none of them in defense, which was really lucky. Then I have a 4-star Gladiator Hourglass, which does need to be replaced. I don't have anything available at the moment that is better than this one, so we'll have to wait for that. Her Goblet is quite nice, so we got crit damage and crit rate. I think I did get 1 point in defense, but other than that, we were pretty good. And a crit rate crown, which is attack, crit damage, another 20% crit damage, and elemental mastery. Constellation-wise, I decided not to go for this one, even though looking back I probably should have. But if we ever get her again soon, in maybe the summertime, then I might go for it. She's 7, 5, and 8. You don't really need to, in my opinion, work on the flower thing because it's mostly reserved as a decoy. So just focus on the Celestial Shower and the archery, or the normal attack. So, I fixed up Kuching. I know I got a couple comments in my previous video complaining that I had her all over the place, but I did fix her. And I'll talk about her stats in just a minute. So we have the Primordial Jade Cutter. I gave the Black Sword to Bennett just for the damage. And yeah, I'm really happy with this weapon because it gives a lot of... well, it does give a little bit of attack bonus, not too much, but it gives a bunch of base attack and 44% crit, which is lovely. Okay, so for the time being, she's going 2-piece Thundering Fury and 2-piece Gladiator, but I still want to get her 4-piece Thunder Soother, which is why I have this flower. I worked on quite a bit of flowers. I'm gonna probably just use them for fodder, given that we're not getting an Electro unit anytime soon. But this one is 8% attack, 17 crit damage, and 10.5% crit rate. The Thunder Soother Flower has 4 good substats, but I got unlucky and one of them, or 2 of them... No. Was it one of them? Yeah, one of them went to Elemental Mastery and I wish it went to crit damage, but still serviceable when I need it in the future. The feather is the same as when you last saw it, I think. But this is new. It's Thunder Fury Hourglass, which is 26.4% crit damage. There was one upgrade that went to HP. I wish it went to crit rate, but 26% crit damage is really, really good. Especially given her previous one. I don't remember which one she had actually, but this one's way better. Oh, this one, yeah, there we go. This one's the previous one, so this would be a direct upgrade. The goblet, I believe, is also different. So again, an unlucky boost to attack and HP. Flat attack is not great because it's not base attack, it's bonus attack. But crit rate would have been nice if even 1 or 2 of these went over here. And she's using the Gladiator hat, which is crit damage, and it has crit rate, and a decent amount of attack. Constellation-wise, if you watched my Wailing video on Kuting, I got her to C6, which is arguably the worst 5-star unit to get C6 on because her constellations don't help her too much, at least relative to other 5 stars. But still worth it because she's waifu. Always go for waifu. So she's got level 9, and level 8 on talents. I'm working on her first, probably, but these are super expensive. 700,000 more, look at that. But I'm really happy with where she is right now because she has a whopping 81% crit rate and 223% crit damage. So she's great, and she's got over 2,000 attack, over 20,000 HP, and thanks to the talent, Aristocratic Dignity, she gets 15% more crit rate, so she's pretty much almost 100%. Therefore, I don't see a need to go any higher in terms of crit rate. What I would like to do is probably fix up the goblet. Goblet definitely could use some more work, because then I can get maybe a little bit more crit rate there, but we're almost at 100%. So she's my best character. The Geodaddy, worked on him a little bit actually. We have, let's see, am I still recording by the way? That'd be embarrassing if I wasn't. Okay, good. Vortex Vanquisher, I have 2 Staff of Homas. So I got a second one off screen if you watched my Hu Tao video. And I'm gonna work on the second Staff of Homa, because it's best in slot for both of them. And artifacts, I worked on him a little bit, but I kind of rushed, so I cut a lot of corners. He's far from perfect, but he's serviceable, a lot better than he used to be. And he's one of my favorite supports to use because with him, I take no damage. So attack, crit rate, energy recharge. We have a feather with attack, HP, crit rate, and elemental mastery. Not too bad. Then we have an HP hourglass, which is percent HP, flat HP, energy recharge. I'm trying to go for support Zhongli, which is why I'm not really going for like offensive stats because I want him to just give me big shields. He still has a good, a decent goblet, which is 18% crit damage and elemental mastery. And it's geo damage. Then we have a crit damage mask, which is not that bad honestly. It's got every stat you want. So he came out okay. C0, I probably should have gotten C1 back in time, but I didn't have too much cash when he was out. But if he gets a rerun, we'll definitely work on him, especially after the buffs. Now that he got buffed, he's super, super good. Chi-Chi! Still just a healer. She's got Sacrificial Sword, and her artifacts I go for 4-piece Maiden. So we have mostly just attack and HP focused for all of them. And yes, I know this is, which one is it? This is not Heart of Depths. She does use Heart of Depths set, but it had the best attack and substats, which is why I used it as the off piece, because you don't need cryo damage on Chi-Chi, she's specifically meant to heal. Constellation, I have none. I think this one might be okay. If I get, I'm not going to wail for her, she's only going to be an off banner. For healers, you really don't need Constellation on her. And yeah, so just mostly using her, she's my main healer. She makes Spiral Abyss much easier to deal with. Mona, I have been working on, but I still don't like using her. I just never really enjoyed her playstyle. I would much rather use like Child or Xingqiu. Or no, actually recently I've been doing Diluc and Ganyu, because I know Ganyu is a main DPS, but she can go support with her ultimate, and Diluc we just chain melt. But eventually I do have to work on her. Widsith is level 70. Then I have a whole bunch of random artifacts on her, but I will go 2-piece Noblesse and 2-piece Wanderer. So let me just quickly scroll through the items. She's not currently in active duty right now. So we do have Hu Tao. I just got her, so she's far from perfect. Actually not at all, because she has a level 50 pole arm, but I did work on her artifacts ahead of time. So some people suggested to go 2-piece Crimson Witch, and so some people suggested I go 2-piece Crimson Witch and 2-piece, I think, either Gladiator or Noblesse, but I went 4-piece mostly because why not? So we already saw the flower on her. This is her feather. It's great. It's not actually the Crimson Witch, but it was so good I just decided to take it because it had everything you could possibly want. We have her Hourglass, which is Elemental Mastery. I know you should go... Actually, I'm pretty sure you're supposed to go HP, but I can't. I don't have an HP Hourglass right now, which means I'm gonna have to work on that. But it's okay. It gives HP, crit damage, and crit rate, and energy recharge. We have a Pyro Damage Goblet, which is a bad one. It got defense like 4 times, which was so irritating, but it was the only one I had, so I had no choice. Then we have a Crit Rate Hat, which again, not fantastic, but it gets the job done. Especially because she scales off of crit damage the same way Kutsing does, and the polearm, Staff of Homa, is also crit damage. So she's doing not that bad, honestly. Just gotta level her up. I have Jean, she's not worked on. Klee's not worked on. Bennett, I've worked on him a little bit. I would like to get a Skyward Blade, but I don't have one. I have 2 Skyward Prides, but I don't have a sword. I could work on Festering Desire or Favonius Sword, but for the moment I'm giving him Black Sword just for the attack. 4-piece Noblesse, we have just mostly HP. I don't give him attack because I don't really use him for bursts. I use him just to get his little square or his little punchy fist fiery zone on the ground. So I give him a lot of elemental recharge, or energy recharge, excuse me, and HP. Sometimes I give crit damage if it's okay, but mostly just energy recharge. So energy recharge here, and attack and crit damage. Pyro damage, because why not? And healing bonus, which you don't really need on Bennett because if your attack or HP is high enough, you should be fine. C6, of course. Oh, I should mention, I have, let's see, C0 Mona, C0 Hu Tao, C2 Jean, C0 Klee, we have C6 Bennett, excuse me. Talents are 7 or 6, no, it's actually 4. Let me work on that really quickly, actually. I should get that fixed up. I am broke. That works too. Okay, we'll work on that later. So Xiangling, pretty decent support back in the day, now not so much. So she's naked, but she's C6, Sucrose is also C6, and I have some artifacts on her, but nothing too important to look at. She's using Sacrificial Fragments. Razor, again C6, and I used to use them a lot back in the day, but not so much anymore now that the 5-star units are pretty good. Barbara I also kind of threw away, but she's C6, and if I do need to use her, she's serviceable, I guess. Fischl, same thing, kind of. I tried to work on her a little bit, just didn't really get anything done with her. I know people like Fischl, she's like really good for free-to-play players, but I just could never really get around to using her because I had Kutsing, so I felt like it was kind of redundant. And now that Ganyu's out, Ganyu's basically an infinitely better version of Fischl. Even though they're not the same element, she's just a lot better than Fischl because more damage on charge shots. No one uses Lisa, but she's C2. Chongyun is C6. Not really workable, but he has Skyward Pride. I have Noel. Also C6. Diona C6 as well. Amber's 0, Kaya's 0, Ningguang is 6. I'm not using any of these units. They have no weapons or artifacts. Beidou is also C6. Xingqiu I think is C5, so I do need one more. But I probably will get him later. I know I should level him up because he's one of the best support units in the game. I literally made a video on that too, but I was just too lazy. Because I'm focusing on all my 5 stars right now. But in the future I will have to work on him. I just want the last one. And then Xinyan is also C6. So that's my account. I am currently AR55. If you want to add me, my user ID is right here. As well as my user ID at the bottom right. I don't know what else to share, actually. I guess these are my weapons. So these are all the 5-star weapons I have. I have multiple copies of Max Refinement 4-star weapons. And I would say the only thing, again, I would like is the Skyward sword. The sword would be nice. I have a whole bunch of 5-star artifacts. I got a bunch of fodder, just waiting for the right ones to come in. These are my items. I'm still working on talents. I probably should, but they're super expensive, especially with all the money it costs. Not just the materials, but just the mora. My food, my resources, I suppose. No one cares. And that's it. So I think where are we at right now? We are currently... Where's my OBS? It's 22 minutes, so we're getting kind of long. I tried to go as fast as I could, but I want to cover everything. I think I made a lot more progress compared to last time. I'm still trying to work on it. I do still have to get all of my characters to level 90, or all my 5 stars at least, and I would like to work on Klee and Jean eventually, because they do have their purpose. But for the time being, it's just a lot of work with artifacts. I'm thinking maybe I should stop doing artifacts and just go for levels and talents, because those are guaranteed. Whereas artifacts, you kind of just RNG your way through, and sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't. There's just multiple layers to it, because you can get good substats but bad rolls. Or you can get like a good main stat, like crit damage or crit rate on your crown, but terrible substats. So it's just RNG on top of RNG. But anyways, if you guys enjoyed, a rating would be much appreciated. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, follow me on Discord, join my Discord server. We have a Genshin section in there as well. And I know I make mostly League of Legends videos on my account, but I still have Genshin videos. I still make them every now and then. Just not really guide videos, because I think too many people make them, so it's oversaturated. But I'll see you probably again. Maybe I'll do one of these every 3 months or so. That's enough time to get some progress done. But that's it. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for the next video. Take care.